Tired of yelling at your kids and getting nowhere? What if discipline could be calm, kind, and still effective? Welcome to Mind-Blowing Motive. Today we're revealing the real secrets behind powerful child discipline without fear or punishment. Part 1. Discipline isn't punishment, it's teaching. When we hear the word discipline, most of us immediately think of punishment, timeouts, yelling, maybe even spanking. But what if we've been misunderstanding it all along? True discipline isn't about punishing children for doing something wrong. It's about teaching them what's right. It's about guiding them to build habits, understand consequences, and make better choices. Think about it this way. When your child misbehaves, their brain is still growing and learning. They aren't evil. They aren't bad kids. They're just kids figuring out the world. Imagine a child spills milk. One parent might scream, "You're so careless." Another might calmly say, "Oops, milk spilled. Let's clean it together and try to be more careful next time." The second parent is using discipline, not punishment. They're teaching responsibility without shame. Children learn better through connection, not fear. When we replace yelling with empathy, we build trust. That trust becomes the foundation of better behavior over time. Discipline also means modeling. If we lose our temper every time something goes wrong, our kids learn that anger is the way to handle problems. But if we stay calm and handle mistakes with kindness, they'll learn to do the same. Kids copy what they see more than what they hear. So if we want respectful, responsible children, we must first show respect and responsibility in how we discipline them. Real discipline is long-term. It's not about fixing one moment of misbehavior. It's about building a lifetime of self-control, empathy, and decision-making. So the next time your child acts out, pause and ask yourself, am I punishing or teaching? That one question can shift your entire parenting journey. Part 2. The power of calm discipline. Let's be honest, parenting is exhausting. When your child throws a tantrum in the middle of the grocery store or refuses to do homework after a long day, it's hard to stay calm. But calm discipline is one of the most powerful parenting tools you can use. When you stay calm, you send a message, "I'm in control and you're safe." Children often act out because their emotions feel too big to handle. They don't need more chaos from us. They need steady leadership. Calm discipline doesn't mean you ignore bad behavior. It means you respond, not react. For example, if a child hits their sibling, instead of yelling, "Stop it right now," you can get down to their level and say, "We don't hit. Let's use our words to solve the problem." It might feel soft, but this approach teaches emotional intelligence. You're helping them understand both the boundary and how to express themselves in a better way. Research shows that when parents stay calm, children are more likely to listen, feel safe, and regulate their own behavior. It also reduces stress in the household, builds emotional connection, and helps children develop internal discipline, something punishments can never do. When kids are punished out of fear, they behave to avoid getting caught. But when they are guided with calm, they behave because they understand why it matters. To practice calm discipline, take a deep breath before responding. Remind yourself that your job isn't to control every action. It's to guide and teach. And most importantly, forgive yourself when you lose it. Every parent does. The key is to reflect, repair, and keep trying. Calm discipline is quiet strength. It doesn't make a scene, but it makes a lasting impact. Part 3. Connection before correction. One of the most powerful principles in child discipline is simple but often ignored. Connect before you correct. Kids don't respond well when they feel disconnected, unloved, or misunderstood. Before we rush to correct a behavior, we need to build a moment of emotional connection. This doesn't mean we ignore the wrong behavior. It means we approach it from a place of love, not just authority. Imagine your child is refusing to do their homework. You could say, "Sit down and do it now." Or you could first say, "I know you've had a long day. Want to tell me what's bothering you before we try to get this done?" That tiny moment of empathy can shift the entire situation. When children feel heard, they're far more likely to cooperate. Connection also means spending time together without conflict. Regular positive moments like playing a game, reading a book, or simply talking help fill your child's emotional cup. When that cup is full, they're less likely to misbehave because they feel secure and valued. But when the only time we talk to them is during correction, they start to see themselves as problems, not people. When we discipline through connection, we also help them name their feelings. You seem angry because your toy broke. That's okay to feel, but it's not okay to throw things. This teaches emotional awareness and regulation, both of which are essential life skills. Remember, children are more than their mistakes. They're learning every single day. If we choose connection first, our discipline becomes more effective, less stressful, and more respectful for both them and us. It's not just about getting them to behave. It's about helping them become emotionally healthy human beings. Part 4. Consistency is the key to real discipline. If there's one golden rule in child discipline, it's consistency. You can be kind, calm, and connected, but if you're not consistent, your child will get confused. Kids thrive on predictability. They feel secure when they know what to expect. That's why having clear, consistent boundaries is so important. Let's say you tell your child, "No screen time after 8 p.m., but one night you let it slide. The next night, they'll expect it again. And if you try to enforce the rule then, they might feel it's unfair. Not because they're testing you on purpose, but because the boundary felt flexible. Inconsistent rules lead to inconsistent behavior. Consistency doesn't mean being strict or harsh. It means following through with what you say. If there's a consequence, make sure it happens gently but firmly. If there's a rule, try your best to uphold it every day. The more reliable you are, the more your child learns to trust you and the rules. Consistency also builds respect. Children may resist boundaries, but deep down, they crave structure. It gives them a sense of control and safety. When you're consistent, they learn you mean what you say, and they stop testing as much over time. Of course, life happens. You'll have days when you're tired or overwhelmed. That's okay. The goal isn't perfection, it's effort. When you slip up, acknowledge it. "I let you stay up late yesterday, but today we're going back to our routine." This honesty teaches them accountability too. In the end, discipline isn't just about rules, it's about reliability. When your words match your actions, your child learns trust, responsibility, and respect. And that's what real discipline is all about. Part 5. Clear rules. Create confident kids. Children thrive in structure. Just like adults need schedules, traffic lights, and workplace rules, kids need clear boundaries to feel secure. When rules are clear, kids know what's expected, and that gives them confidence. They don't have to guess whether a behavior is okay or not. They don't have to fear sudden anger or confusing signals. It makes their world feel safe. Let's imagine you're raising a child without clear rules. One day, you let them eat snacks before dinner. The next day, you scold them for it. One night, bedtime is at 8. The next, it's 10. This inconsistency creates anxiety. It sends the message, I never know what's going to happen. But when rules are steady, your child learns to trust the environment and themselves. Clear rules should be simple, specific, and age-appropriate. For example, we speak kindly in this house, or homework comes before screen time. You don't need 100 rules, just a few strong ones that reflect your family's values. And the best way to make them stick? Involve your child when possible. Ask, what do you think is a fair rule about screen time? This gives them a sense of ownership and cooperation. When you set boundaries, make sure you explain why they exist. Kids are more likely to follow a rule if they understand its purpose. We go to bed at 8 so your brain can rest and grow. It's not about control, it's about care. Boundaries are not about shutting kids down. They're about giving them room to grow safely. Like training wheels on a bike, boundaries protect while giving freedom to explore. And most importantly, they help kids learn to set healthy boundaries for themselves in the future. Part 6. Follow through without fear. Setting rules is only half the job, the other half, following through. It's one thing to say, no TV until homework is done. It's another thing to actually turn off the TV when your child resists. And here's the truth. Kids will test limits. That's not a sign of bad parenting. It's a natural part of child development. But your response matters more than their reaction. Following through teaches kids that rules mean something. If consequences are always delayed, canceled, or ignored, kids learn that your words don't carry weight. But if you calmly follow through every time, they start to respect the rules, even if they don't like them. That doesn't mean you need harsh punishments. It means you need logical and fair consequences. If your child throws a toy, the toy goes away for a while. If they refuse to clean up, they lose a privilege until it's done. Consequences should be connected to the action, not random punishments. That way, kids learn responsibility, not fear. One mistake many parents make is using threats they don't mean. If you don't stop, we're never going to the park again. Your child knows that's not true. Empty threats weaken your authority. Instead, stay calm and say what you will do. If you keep yelling, we'll take a break and try again in 10 minutes. Then follow through, gently but firmly. Sometimes your child will cry, scream, or negotiate. Stay steady. You're not being mean. You're being consistent. Over time, they'll test you less because they'll learn that you mean what you say. Following through builds trust. Your child learns that you're not unpredictable or unfair. They may not thank you now, but as they grow, they'll carry that sense of security with them. And that's a gift that lasts a lifetime. Part 7. Say no without guilt. As parents, saying no can feel hard. You love your child and you want to see them happy. So when they beg for one more cartoon, one more cookie, or one more hour of play, you hesitate. Sometimes you give in just to avoid the meltdown. But here's the truth. Saying no with love is part of good parenting. Children need to hear no to understand limits. Life won't always say yes, and home is the best place to learn that reality gently. When you say no, you're not hurting them. You're teaching them resilience, patience, and respect. These are life skills that help them grow strong and confident. The key is to say no with calm confidence, not anger or shame. You don't have to shout or explain endlessly. A simple, firm response works best. No, we're not buying that toy today. If your child reacts with frustration, stay steady. You can empathize with their feelings without changing the boundary. I know you're disappointed. It's okay to feel that way, but the answer is still no. Sometimes we fear that saying no will make our kids dislike us. But kids don't need parents who always please them. They need parents who protect, guide, and teach. Boundaries make children feel safe. When you say no with consistency, they stop pushing as much because they learn the limits are real. And here's something beautiful. Saying no also makes your yes more meaningful. When kids know you don't say yes to everything, they value it more when you do. It builds gratitude and appreciation. So don't carry guilt for setting limits. Every no you say from love is a seed planted for a stronger future. One day your child will thank you for it, not because you gave them everything, but because you gave them what they truly needed. Part 8. Discipline is a form of love. Many people confuse discipline with punishment, but real discipline isn't about pain, it's about teaching. The word discipline comes from the word disciple, which means to teach or guide. And when you discipline your child, you're showing them the way forward, not just correcting a wrong. Discipline means taking time to understand your child. It means helping them see the result of their choices. It means correcting with care, not with anger. Instead of yelling, you stay calm. Instead of punishing randomly, you explain the consequence and why it matters. This way, your child doesn't just stop the behavior, they learn from it. For example, if your child lies about homework, you don't just take away privileges, you have a conversation. I need to trust you. When you lie, it breaks that trust. How can we fix it together? This approach builds honesty and problem solving. Discipline is also about modeling. Kids learn more from what you do than what you say. If you handle anger with shouting, they'll copy that. But if you stay calm and respectful, even when setting firm limits, they'll absorb that too. One of the most loving things you can do for your child is help them build self-control. That's what discipline does. It teaches them to pause, think, and make better choices. Over time, they don't need as many rules because they start guiding themselves. That's the real goal of discipline. Not obedience, but independence with character. And yes, discipline takes time. You'll have to repeat yourself, stay patient, and hold firm when it's hard. But the result? A child who feels safe, respected, and capable. A child who grows into an adult with integrity and strength. Discipline isn't about power, it's about love. Quiet, steady, strong love that shapes the future, one choice at a time. Part 9. Help kids name their feelings. Kids often act out because they don't have the words to express what they feel. Imagine feeling angry, confused, or scared, but you don't know how to say it. That frustration builds up until it explodes in tears, tantrums, or silence. That's where emotional vocabulary comes in, and you as a parent can be their guide. Teaching kids to name their feelings is the first step to helping them manage those feelings. Instead of saying, "Stop crying," try, "Are you feeling sad?" Or, "You look frustrated. Want to talk about it?" This helps them connect what's happening inside with the right word. And once they can name it, they can learn how to handle it. Start with the basics: happy, sad, angry, scared. Use daily moments to build their emotional vocabulary. If they lose a toy, say, "It's okay to feel sad when we lose something we love." If they win a game, say, "You look proud." That's a great feeling, isn't it? Books, stories, and even cartoons are great tools to explore feelings. Pause a story and ask, "How do you think she feels right now?" This builds empathy and emotional awareness. And don't forget, you can model this too. When you're upset or tired, say it out loud. "I'm feeling overwhelmed, so I'm going to take a break." This teaches them that emotions are normal and there are healthy ways to respond to them. Helping kids name their emotions doesn't make them weaker, it makes them stronger. Because once they understand what they feel, they're less likely to be ruled by it. They learn that feelings are not scary, they're signals. And when kids understand their inner world, they grow up with self-awareness and emotional intelligence that serve them for life. Part 10. Calm is contagious. Ever notice how your child's mood often reflects yours? When you're calm, they're more likely to settle down. But when you're tense, the whole house feels it. That's because kids absorb your energy. Your calm is their calm. Your storm is their storm. One of the most powerful tools in discipline is your own self-control. You don't have to be perfect, but staying grounded during chaos teaches your child how to handle emotions. If your child is throwing a tantrum and you start yelling too, the message is, when things go wrong, we lose control. But if you stay steady and speak softly, you model emotional strength. Let's be honest, staying calm isn't easy, especially when you're tired, stressed, or overwhelmed. But taking a deep breath before you respond can change everything. Try this. The next time your child misbehaves, pause for 3 seconds. Take a breath, then respond. That short pause helps shift your brain from reaction to intention. Instead of, "What is wrong with you?" you can say, "Let's figure out what's going on here." Same situation, different outcome. You're not just reacting to your child's behavior, you're teaching them how to respond to hard moments. And that's a life skill more powerful than any punishment. Also, don't be afraid to say, "I need a minute to calm down." That's not weakness, it's wisdom. It shows your child that everyone needs space to regulate, and it's okay to take it. When kids grow up seeing calm responses to tough situations, they begin to mirror that. They learn that strength doesn't always shout. Sometimes it breathes, pauses, and speaks with clarity. Your calm is a gift. It creates a home where discipline feels safe, not scary, where mistakes are lessons, not threats, and where love speaks louder than anger. Part 11. Let consequences do the teaching. Discipline works best when kids understand why their actions matter. That's where consequences come in, not as punishments, but as natural teachers. When a child sees the result of their behavior, they learn responsibility, cause and effect, and better decision-making. Let's say your child refuses to wear a jacket, even though it's cold. Instead of arguing, let them feel a little chilly, safely. Next time, they'll likely grab that jacket without you saying a word. That's a natural consequence, one that teaches without lectures. Or maybe they don't do their homework. Instead of stepping in last minute, let them face the consequence at school. It might feel hard to watch, but they'll learn that their choices matter. It builds ownership. Logical consequences are another great tool. If they draw on the wall, the consequence could be helping clean it up. If they break a rule during screen time, the screen time ends early. It's not about punishment, it's about making the consequence connected and meaningful. But here's the key. Consequences work best when delivered calmly and consistently. If you yell, threaten, or punish randomly, your child learns fear, not responsibility. But when you explain clearly, "You chose not to clean your toys, so now we can't take out new ones," you teach accountability with respect, and always follow through. If you say, "If you hit your brother again, you'll lose TV time," and then don't enforce it, your child learns that your words don't mean much. But if you consistently stand by your limits, your child learns that rules matter. Consequences are powerful because they do the teaching for you. They shift the focus from parent versus child to choice versus result. That's how kids start to think before they act, and that's how discipline turns into real growth. Part 12. Celebrate effort, not just results. Every child wants to feel seen, not just when they succeed, but when they try. One of the best ways to build discipline and character is to celebrate your child's effort, even if the result isn't perfect. Let's say your child works hard on cleaning their room but misses a few spots. Instead of pointing out the flaws, start with, "I noticed you really tried." "That's awesome." Then gently guide, "Next time, let's double check under the bed too." When you celebrate effort, you teach your child that trying matters. That discipline isn't just about doing things right. It's about showing up, practicing, and learning. That mindset builds confidence and resilience. It also encourages kids to take on challenges. If they fear failure, they avoid effort. But if they know you value progress, not just perfection, they'll keep trying, even when it's hard. Use phrases like, "I'm proud of how hard you worked." "I can see you're improving." "That took patience, you stuck with it." And remember, mistakes are part of learning. When your child messes up, stay encouraging. Say, "Mistakes help us grow. What can we do differently next time?" This builds emotional strength and a growth mindset. When effort is appreciated, discipline becomes internal. Kids start making good choices, not just to avoid punishment, but because it feels good to do their best. That's the heart of self-discipline, motivation from within. So praise effort, notice the little steps, and let your child know that growth is a journey. Your words have the power to build a mindset that lasts a lifetime. Part 13. Consistency builds trust. Imagine trying to play a game where the rules change every 5 minutes. Frustrating, right? That's how discipline feels to a child when the rules aren't consistent. One day something's okay, the next day it's not. This unpredictability creates confusion, not growth. That's why consistency is the foundation of successful discipline. When you're consistent, your child knows what to expect. They understand the boundaries and learn that rules matter. For example, if bedtime is 8:30 p.m., then it should be the same every night. If talking back is unacceptable, it should be addressed every time, not just when you're in a bad mood. Being consistent doesn't mean being harsh or rigid. It means being clear, fair, and steady. Think of it like a lighthouse. Your child is the ship, and you are the steady light guiding them safely, no matter how stormy things get. Here's a practical tip. Decide on a few important rules, like no hitting, homework before screens, and respectful language. Then explain those rules clearly. Let your child know what the consequences will be if those rules are broken. And most importantly, follow through every time. If you let things slide today and react tomorrow, your child learns to test the limits. But if your response is steady, they'll eventually stop pushing because they know the boundary is real. Also, if you co-parent, make sure you're on the same page. Mixed messages from parents can confuse kids and create behavior issues. A united front builds security. And remember, consistency isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up with clarity and love. Even if you make mistakes, being honest and steady builds trust. When children trust the process, they follow it more willingly. They know you're not reacting out of anger, but guiding out of love. Part 14. Create routines. That stick kids thrive on routines. Just like adults feel calmer with a plan, Children feel safer when they know what's coming next. A strong routine is more than just structure. It's a silent teacher of discipline. Think about mornings. If every day starts with chaos, rushing, yelling, forgetting things, your child starts the day stressed. But if the morning follows a predictable flow, wake up, brush teeth, eat breakfast, pack bag, the day begins with confidence. That's the power of a routine. Routines reduce power struggles because expectations are clear. Instead of arguing about screen time every evening, set a routine. Homework first, then 30 minutes of screen. When kids know the pattern, they stop negotiating and start following. The key to making routines stick: keep them simple, visual, and consistent. For younger kids, use picture charts. For older ones, talk through the plan and let them help shape it. Involvement increases cooperation. Start with one or two areas: bedtime, after school, or mornings. Don't try to change everything at once. Build slowly. Once a routine becomes a habit, it feels natural for you and your child. Flexibility matters too. If something breaks the routine, explain it. Today we're skipping homework time because grandma is visiting, but tomorrow we're back on track. This keeps the structure alive without being rigid. Routines don't just organize time, they teach responsibility, time management, and self-control. Kids learn that life has a rhythm, and within that rhythm, they have a role to play. And perhaps the best part? A good routine brings peace to your home. Less stress, fewer arguments, more time to connect. And that's the kind of discipline that truly lasts. Part 15. Be the calm in the chaos. Let's face it, kids have a talent for pushing buttons. They cry, shout, argue, and sometimes throw full-on tantrums. And in those heated moments, it's tempting to raise your voice, slam a door, or dish out a quick punishment. But here's the truth. Your calm is their anchor. When a child loses control, they need you to stay in control. Your calm presence teaches more than 1,000 words. It says, even when things feel messy, we can handle this together. That's emotional leadership, and it's one of the most powerful parts of discipline. Think about it like this. Kids learn emotional regulation by watching yours. If you shout when you're frustrated, they learn shouting is okay. But if you breathe deep, speak slowly, and respond with patience, they absorb that too. It's not easy, especially when you're tired, stressed, or dealing with the 10th meltdown of the day. But small changes help. Pause before responding. Use a low, steady voice. Get down to their level. Validate their feelings, even if you don't accept the behavior. You can say, I see you're upset. It's okay to feel angry, but it's not okay to hit. That teaches emotional awareness and boundaries in one sentence. If needed, take a timeout. Not for them, but for you. Step away, breathe, reset. You're human too, and modeling how to handle big emotions is a lesson in itself. Remember, discipline isn't just about correcting behavior. It's about shaping character. And that starts with emotional connection. When kids feel safe, heard, and understood, they're more willing to listen and grow. So in the chaos, be the calm. It won't solve every issue instantly, but it creates a space where real growth can begin. Part 16. Make discipline a team effort. Discipline isn't a one-way street. It's not just about telling kids what not to do. It's about building a team relationship where you grow together. When your child feels like they're part of the solution, not just the problem, discipline becomes meaningful. Start by involving your child in creating rules. Ask, what do you think are important rules for our home? You'll be surprised. They often know exactly what's needed. When they help set the rules, they're more likely to respect them. You can also involve them in setting consequences. Say, if you forget your chore, what do you think should happen? This helps them understand accountability and fairness. Use family meetings once a week, even for 10 minutes. Talk about what's working, what's not, and how to improve. Let everyone speak, including you. Share how you're working on your own patience or trying to listen better. That honesty builds trust. Team discipline also means support, not just correction. Cheer your child on when they get it right. Say, I noticed you stayed calm when your brother took your toy. That was really mature. That kind of encouragement builds motivation from the inside out. If you have multiple children, avoid comparisons. Each child is unique. Celebrate progress, not perfection. And most importantly, remind them we're in this together. Let your discipline be wrapped in love, patience, and partnership. Because when your child feels like they're not fighting against you, but growing with you, that's when real change sticks. Discipline done together becomes a journey, not a battle. A shared path toward responsibility, respect, and emotional strength. And remember, discipline isn't about control, it's about connection. Raise your children with calm, love, and clear boundaries, and you'll raise strong, respectful human beings. This is Mind-Blowing Motive, where every lesson helps you grow, lead, and inspire. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more motivational and life-changing content. Let's shape the future, one positive thought at a time.